Well, we finally have some good news here in the United States because according to the Treasury Secretary, he says that the United States and China finally have a framework deal that would mean China will avoid a 100% tariff boost. That tariff boost is supposed to go into effect on November 1st, but that's only part of it. The reason why President Trump was going to impose that 100% tariff boost was because of something China was trying to do, where they were trying to limit the use of rare earths outside of China. Well, we got a framework deal, and I'll explain more on that in just a moment. But this is big because millions of Americans were about to feel the pain. China was going to feel the pain as well, because here in the United States, we were not going to buy more and more Chinese goods because of this increased cost. A 100% additional tariff. That was going to cripple the U.S. economy, but it was also going to sting China as well. I want to play you this clip. This is Secretary Scott Bessent. I want you to see exactly what he has to say, because again, this is coming down to an agreement possibly this week. Listen to this.
Mr. Secretary, do you believe that China is ready to make a trade deal?
Kristen, I can tell you they are, because we just finished 2 days of negotiations, and we've created a framework for the two leaders to discuss on Thursday in Korea.
So that's optimism. President Trump had threatened to impose an additional 100% tariffs on China on November 1st if Beijing goes forward with a plan to put restrictions on rare earth minerals, as you know. If China refuses to pull back those restrictions, Mr. Secretary, can you confirm that President Trump will, in fact, impose those 100% tariffs against China?
I want you to listen to what he's going to say, okay? Because this was a big sticking point. If President Trump imposes a 100% additional tariff on China, this was going to hurt millions of Americans. Listen to what he has to say.
Well, Kristen, I think that's old news. President Trump gave me a great deal of negotiating leverage with the threat of the 100% tariffs on November 1st, and I believe we've reached a very substantial framework that will avoid that and allow us to discuss many other things with the Chinese. I think we will be able to discuss.
Listen to what he has to say. They are going to discuss many other things with the Chinese. Listen.
Them helping us get this terrible fentanyl crisis under control.
That's a big one. The fentanyl crisis, that's something that the Trump administration has been adamant about, that what he wants is to stop all drugs entering into the United States. But it doesn't stop there. Let's listen to this.
I think we are going to be able to discuss substantial soybean and ag purchases for our American farmers.
That's huge, because China pretty much, they didn't buy any soybeans from the U.S. Now there's talk of substantial purchases. Let's keep listening.
I think we are going to be able to discuss more balanced trade. And, and I'm not going to get ahead of the two leaders, but I think that they will also be discussing President Trump's global peace plan that he's been so successful at, both here in Asia, the Middle East, and now he's looking to Ukraine, Russia.
Okay. So again, there's movement, there's talk, there's progress. That's good. This is finally something we can be somewhat optimistic about. But the talks are going to happen on Thursday. Look at this, though. It says China will make substantial purchases of U.S. soybeans and should avoid a 100% tariff. That's the good news. I want to show you something else, though. Look at this. It says Bessent says China to delay rare earths rules by a year and buy U.S. soybeans. I want to read a little bit of this article from Reuters. It says right here, Bessent told the CBS program Face the Nation that the soybean purchases would be substantial. Says Bessent said on ABC's This Week program that when President Donald Trump and President Xi Jinping announce a trade deal next Thursday, U.S. soybean farmers will feel very good about what's going on both for this season and the coming seasons for several years. One of the issues that we're having is that farmers, and not just soybean farmers, but really all farmers, are feeling the impacts of this trade war. Farmers are struggling. But when farmers struggle, we see truckers struggle. When truckers struggle, we now see warehouses are struggling. Farmers markets are struggling. Grocery stores are struggling. And the American people are struggling. That's kind of where we're at now. Here's the last thing I want to play you. Okay? Listen to this clip. It's about a minute long. Listen to this, and then we'll talk about it.
Part of what China would do with respect to the rare earths is they would require exporters anywhere in the world, starting in December, to seek approval from Beijing to sell products or components that include Chinese rare earths or were made with Chinese rare earths related equipment. Obviously gives them quite a bargaining chip in these conversations. But news coming out this morning says that there is some deferral or an understanding for hope of deferring that particular problem.
Well, I won't comment too much on the details, but I will say that our goal is to make sure that those controls that are very expansive do not go into effect. This is something that would affect not only the United States, it would also affect the rest of the world. It would gum up trade. It would give China control over technology transactions. It's completely unacceptable. So that's one of the major objectives of these talks, and I think we're progressing toward that goal very well.
Okay. Now, in that, she said that we would have to, and not just the United States, but the entire world, would have to get prior approval from China to use their rare earths in certain products. That creates a somewhat interesting situation, because if we were to build any type of advanced technology, whatever we're using the rare earths for, once we purchase it, once we get it, it should be up to us what we decide to use it for. And that's something that China says, yes, that's true. But at the same time, if it's ours and we say, no, we're just not going to sell it to you, that's kind of where we're at. And yes, the entire world would suffer as a result. But China says, this is ours. This is up to us what we decide to do with it. The United States is not going to dictate where these products go. Now, what does this mean moving forward? Well, this is an extremely important week for multiple reasons. Currently, today is October 26th. This coming Saturday is November 1st. November 1st is a very big deadline for multiple reasons. Number one, this is when China was saying that these rare earths will be limited, but the United States says if China doesn't back off this, then China will have to see a 100% additional tariff. And that's what the American people are going to pay. Meaning there's probably going to be a lot less Chinese products hitting the shelves if there's a 145% total tariff. That's a massive number. Currently we're at 45%. It's 35% of a tariff, and it's a 10% flat tariff on China as well. But here's the interesting thing. It doesn't stop there. We're also hearing that that is when the Saturday, November 1st deadline, that's kind of what lawmakers are looking at when it comes to things like the government shutdown. This is also when SNAP benefits will not be renewed. And on top of all that, military personnel should get another check on November 1st. As of right now, it looks highly unlikely. So, very big things are happening this week. But Thursday, Friday, and Saturday will be critical. So, as we get more information as to what is going on and how you could potentially be impacted, I promise I'll bring you all the latest news and updates as soon as we get them. But as of today, that is what we know. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.